So we all have devices, but the difference between us and kids with devices is how prepared our brains are for what happens with them. Kids don't have the prefrontal lobe development to predict the consequences of their actions. All they're thinking when they see a fight at school is, can I get this into the group chat before anybody else? It's very immediate, very instant gratification, and that actually is a piece of their brain development. It's because they're supposed to be taking risks, they're supposed to be doing things right and wrong. That's how they learn.
Children are supposed to mess up. That's part of growing up, is having those chances to take some risks, make a mistake, might get in trouble, and follow up, right? And it's areas of learning, except for when it comes to safety.
So should kids be doing this? No, they shouldn't. This is a place where adults' voices need to be used more often in identifying the future consequences of this. And I think that's where we're missing a little bit, is that we're not talking to our kids about that because we're doing it too. The only difference between us and kids is that adults do have the frontal lobe development to understand the consequences of their actions. We just choose to ignore them. And so how do we bridge that? I think how we bridge it is by taking a look at what we're doing, understanding the consequences, and then saying to a kid, this is what I did and this was the consequence. Because if they can find that relationship between what we're doing and what they're doing and understand that, yeah, their parents sometimes have screwed up here as well, and this is how my parents dealt with it, then when those situations are happening, they're more likely to give thought to it.
And for our parents, you have the hardest job in the entire world, and kudos to you. It's hard to navigate between being overprotective and underprotective, and there's that beautiful middle ground. There's lots of wonderful things about social media, and even some of the trends are really harmless. They can be fun, and you get your friends involved, and that's the great piece. The fact that it allows you to connect with good means that there's also you'll connect with bad too. And that's the piece where the more we talk about it, the more we're honest about it. It's the explaining that's important for kids. They need to understand the why. If we just say don't do it, they don't get that piece. That's not clear enough. That's not enough for them. That's part of what they're trying to figure out as adolescents. And I'm gonna reiterate the conversations, have the conversations, talk about it, talk about the real risks that could happen, not in a scary way, but in a reality way. Look at all the different possibilities they can do and let them take those chances that aren't going to cause physical or mental injury. Let them take those risks and be there to catch them and pick them up figuratively and help brush them off and send them on their way. And for the ones that could really cause harm, talk it out, sit with them. They like to know the why, and then ask them, what other questions do you have? Sometimes we assume that that was enough, and they might have a question in there that we haven't quite hit for them, and ask them, do you got everything you need before you walk out the door? And that should keep all of our guys safe and moving forward for the next day.